Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I've got a Battlefield news roundup, so to speak. A lot has been going on over the past week or so. New leaks on the next Battlefield game have been discovered. Game director Marcus Leto has been visiting the DICE headquarters in Stockholm to get some inspiration for his new studio. A bunch of unreleased weapons, vehicles and skins have been data mined, and we have a little more insight into just what we'll be getting in the April patch. So let's get into it. Just the other day, the data miner Temporal discovered yet another unreleased asset hidden in the Battlefield 2042 game files, and that asset is a crossbow named the Ghostmaker R10. Nice choice of name there. It's inspired by the real-life Cobra R9, and it can fire 3 different kinds of bolt, explosive, EMP or regular. For those of you with a rich background in the Battlefield franchise, you'll know that DICE kind of have a hard-on for crossbows and bows in general. Battlefield 3 had a DLC that featured a crossbow, and Battlefield 4 had the Phantom Prospect Easter egg hunt that of course culminated in the unlocking of the Phantom Bow. Overall pretty useless weapons, but arguably a lot of fun. Now this isn't the only unreleased asset Temporal has found. This is an unreleased drone, the Su-70 Hunter G, and interestingly enough, if you go all the way back to the first gameplay trailer that DICE showed us, so the very first gameplay we saw, for a split second you can see this vehicle image on the minimap that looks distinctly like a stealth bomber, and it hasn't been seen since. Back then, myself and others hypothesized that this was the real-life S-70 Hunter B, and it looks like we were spot on. Other than that, Temporal has found a bunch of weapons, a new map, new skins, and even a new helicopter. So the question is, why is all of this stuff laying dormant in the game files? Well, my guess is that it was originally planned for a Season 1 release. It's not uncommon for devs to include unreleased Season 1 content in release builds to facilitate the release of Season 1 in a timely manner. Why that didn't happen is anybody's guess. Most likely a mixture of public backlash and the game being as broken as Chris Rock's left jaw. On the other hand, they may simply be assets that DICE decided to abandon completely. They were either too lazy or too short on time to remove them from the game files. Marcus Leto, the new game director for a currently unannounced Battlefield studio that will be working on the next Battlefield game, has recently paid DICE in Stockholm a little visit, and while he was there, he spent some time with Lars Gustafsson, aka Mr. Battlefield, aka the producer/director of almost every Battlefield game ever released, and he said, "I did my best to absorb the vast knowledge of icons like the great Mr. Battlefield. Now, back home to Seattle." If you ask me, it sounds like Marcus basically went over there to touch bases and throw some ideas around. His new studio is still unannounced, and it doesn't even have a name yet. As in this tweet, he says, "Hey Battlefield friends, when I'm not reading forums about what is more important to you, I'm focusing my attention on building our new studio here in the Seattle area. We're slowly growing and getting things established." So it's very possible that the next Battlefield game is still in a conceptual stage, which in my opinion makes a 2023 release almost impossible. That being said, seeing Marcus's interactions on Twitter does give me a little whiff of hopium. Here he's asked to make Battlefield gritty again, make it feel like you're part of a real war and make it believable. And Marcus says he loves all of those ingredients. At the moment he is one of the main communicators, which is good to see, but as always, the proof is in the pudding. Now, industry insider Tom Henderson recently put out a blog post entitled "Battlefield Series Begins Uphill Battle, Feature Reversions Coming to Next Titles as Valuable Lessons Learned from Battlefield 2042. I will link the article down below for your perusal if you are so inclined, but let's go over some of the juicy bits. So according to Tom's sources, the next Battlefield game is in its pre-production stage, and it has been said that valuable lessons have been learned following the release of Battlefield 2042. And I quote, "I think we'll be reverting a lot of the changes we made in Battlefield 2042. So to me that says specialists may well be gone in the next game and classes will be back. Perhaps 128 players will be scrapped as well. He did say one thing though, that the next title is slated to have a modern/near future setting. Apparently the original plan for the overall series direction was to have Battlefield 2042 act as a foundation for the future, with the next Battlefield game being built upon it. One former developer who recently left DICE following the launch of Battlefield 2042 had suggested that the next game was almost going to be like a hero shooter, with specialists becoming mercenaries. Obviously though, DICE's plans there went down about as well as Chris Rock's jokes at the Oscars. It seems like this plan may have changed though, with recent internal playtest and feedback sessions focusing on the class system in Battlefield 2042. More likely than not, they're going to do what we all suspect, and that's to do the very thing the community told them to do from the very start before the game even released, and that is to tie these specialists to a class system. Hate to say I told you so, DICE. So April is almost upon us and we should be expecting a patch soon, right? 3.3 released in March with a sparkly new scoreboard, and along with it, DICE laid out their plans for the next patch in a blog post. But since then, we haven't heard anything. Well, until now. Over on the forums, one of the Battlefield community managers answered some questions in regards to what the next patch will contain, and he says the next patch will be considerable, and we're currently looking at a few hundred changes. It's mostly bug fixes, but we're also looking to make further changes to, for example, vehicle balance and the current behaviour of attachments for weapons. We'll provide more details on what exactly is in the update closer to its release date via a full set of update notes. The update will also contain the end of round scoreboard functionality and voice over IP, or VoIP. Now, you may also recall that DICE asked for our feedback on map design, since they are evidently woefully inept at creating good maps themselves, and this community manager said there is a follow-up for maps scheduled to go live before the end of the week. So watch this space, guys. Hopefully in the coming days we're going to get some feedback on just how and on what sort of scale DICE intend to change the maps. If we do get an update, I will be sure to put out a video on that and let you guys know what they're up to. So as always, guys, leave me your thoughts on everything down below, or alternatively, come and have a chat to me live on Twitch or join the Discord. Have a good day, guys, and I will see you in the next video.